Welcome everybody. This is a new channel that I'm putting together. My name is Tom and I love Grand Cherokees, particularly 1996 to 1998, and that's known as a ZJ. And the reason I like those so much is they're really affordable, they're cheap to buy, and they have the same 4-coil suspension as a Wrangler. So the capabilities for off-road are tremendous. They're really cheap and they're really comfortable. The big cushy leather seats in the limiteds, you can get a V6, or excuse me, a straight 6 or the V8 option. And they're both good motors. So there's lots of options. Both those motors have been around a long time. There's a million parts for them. There's a million Grand Cherokees around. So it's sort of the sweet spot, financially and comfort-wise and capability-wise. So that's why I've chosen the Grand Cherokee. And I've loved the styling and look of those late 90s Jeeps for as long as I can remember. 5 years ago, I bought my first one, and that was kind of the starting point. And I've now purchased 41, and for varying reasons. Some of them are parts Jeeps. Usually what happens is I build one out just for a daily driver, and then somebody I know needs a Jeep or a daily driver, and I've built that out to be reliable and safe, so I end up selling it and starting over. So that's a little bit of how I got to 41. I currently only have 11 on the property, and I'll show you a couple later on. The one that we're going to start off with is a 1997 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the 5.2, the 318, and it is a limited. And I bought it at auction, and it had a mouse problem. Well, I can fix the mouse problem, and that's one reason why I got it so cheap. I got it for 350 bucks. So what I'm going to be putting on that is a 4.5-inch lift with 33-inch tires, and the lift kit will be here next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm excited to build this Jeep out and document all the parts of how I did it, the costs associated with it, and then get on the trail and actually go over the practical applications of this type of a lift that I'm putting on this Jeep, which is a little outside the norm, but it's a budget build, hence Budget Overlanding. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to share all that with you, learn those things with you, and over the next several videos, I want to go over all the little nuances these Jeeps have and how to make it a reliable rig. I've seen a lot of videos online where they'll build a budget rig for under $5,000, and it's a one video, standalone video, and then you, the viewer, are left on your own accord after that. What I'd like to do is I'd like to build a community of people that want to budget overland and need a good rig, but they need the support, meaning they need to understand all the nuances of that particular vehicle to make it reliable and know how to service it if it does fail, because everything with a moving part is subject to failure. So that when you're out on the trail, when you have a problem, you'll feel like you're more in control of making that repair or getting the rig back on the road. So that is my quick introduction, and I will share with you shortly my first Jeep that we're going to build out on Budget Overlanding. Thank you. Stay tuned. I've switched vehicles. I'm actually starting all the Jeeps this weekend. Let them run a little while and exercise them a little bit. And when they sit, typically leaks start happening, batteries go dead. So this is my wife's Jeep. She has a 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee. You know, the first rule is make wife happy, happy life. Something like that. Anyway, another point that I wanted to share is a big point of my motivation to put this channel together is we get caught up in our day-to-day routines, and it's really easy to all of a sudden see time and life slip by, and I don't want to look back and go, you know, I should have or would have or could have. And now that I have this resource and these Jeeps and this knowledge, or a little bit of knowledge anyway, I really want to share it with somebody else that can accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish, which I don't want to just exist. I want to get out and experience life. I want to enjoy life because it's short. And I think we can all attest to that, but we don't always have a way to exercise that. So on a budget build, on Budget Overlanding, right down to a budget campfire, how to not have expenses associated with cooking out when you're on the trail, or minimize those down to a budget overlanding experience. That is another module that we'll be covering later on camping on a budget while budget overlanding. All right, here is my 1997 Jeep Grand Cherokee that I bought from the auction. And as you can see, it's in really nice shape. A couple paint chips in the hood there. But that's about it. So, this had mice living in it, which led to a really smelly situation inside. So what I did was I gutted the interior. I relined it with sound deadening material. I'll cover that in a second. And I'm going to put another interior in it over the next couple days, and it will be ready for the lift that will be coming in next week, next Tuesday or Wednesday, which will be a 4.5-inch budget lift. It's not really a budget lift because I'm not cheating in the capacity that it's a budget lift. It's a cost affordable lift. I'm not using spacers. I'm actually using components to lift the suspension correctly, but we'll cover that more later. So I thought I'd show you what the interior is. I went ahead and pulled out all of the old carpet. I bought a carpet kit, $150 online. And of course, it's a cheap carpet kit, so it's not cut to fit perfectly. So of course, I have to do a little modification to get it in there and get the back piece in there as well. And I've got a headliner in the storage unit or a storage container. So I'll be able to plug the interior back in over the next day or two, and we'll have new door panels, new carpet, new headliner, and this Jeep will look brand new when I get done with the inside. I did black out the windows in the back. I'm going to black them out further so there's no light coming through, because I've never needed to look through those windows while on the trail. And it's just a security issue for people looking in to see what I have on the inside of my Jeeps. This was a brown interior. Currently it is no longer a brown interior. That back panel will go away soon. So there's the interior. So this is what we're starting with. Now, of course, when I buy a Jeep, this is a rare occasion that I have to gut the interior. So this is not really part of my build. It's just a factor in this particular build that I wanted to share with you guys. Usually you can buy a Jeep, vacuum it out, put an air freshener in it, and the interior is good to go. So I'm starting a little bit further back on this one than most of my Jeeps. But this is going to be my personal rig, going to the mountains, and I'm going to spend time in it, so obviously I want it to be nice. And I want it to look as new as possible when I get done. So, this is what my project is this week. I'm looking forward to sharing with you how I build the lift. It's all bolt-on, so there's no welding. I'm not a welder. Well, not yet. I'm going to buy one and figure that out next. But for now, it's a bolt-on 4.5-inch lift. And it should be an easier install than most. And it will be all done in my driveway on the gravel. So that's probably close to what everybody else has to work with. So welcome to Budget Overlanding. I'm looking forward to building this rig with you guys and sharing with you all the ins and outs of how a Jeep Grand Cherokee comes together and how to make it reliable for budget overlanding on the trail. See you in the next episode.